Hello everyone, and welcome to, here we go. Sorry if it's a little bright. Um, yeah, so it's gonna be a little different from the normal Radical Rewind streams, because this is the finale for Volume 6, I think. Yeah, Volume 6. Now you're probably wondering, so this next volume, when is it? That'd be next week. To be more precise, it'll be May the 1st, so that'll be next Monday. Originally, there were going to be 3 final episodes for this, so yeah. But then I thought about it and I thought, well, I can't really think of anything else off the top of my mind, so I might as well make this the last one. But this next volume is going to be a 2-in-1 special, and I'll explain why. So, first things first, with May comes the encroaching of summer. So, summer's well on its way. We're almost done with this month. So, yeah. But, not only that, but there's some stuff beyond May that I'm planning on doing as well. This is why I said that this upcoming volume will be a 2-in-1 special. So this next volume is officially known as Flashback 90X. Stylized as either 9X or 90-X. And the reason being is because it's focusing entirely on the aesthetics and trends and what have you of the 90s, which is the same decade that I was born in. Or rather, the late 90s, because I was born in 1997. So, with this, we're going to start off with a Radical Builds stream on May 1st of a console that technically I've already built before, but I'm going to be redoing the build in a much better way than what I was originally able to, because at the time I was still kind of a beginner at building stuff with Lego, or rather Lego programs like this. But the thing is, this stream isn't going to be entirely focused on Radical Rewind. There's some other stuff that I want to talk about as well. Namely, the other reason why this is going to be a 2-in-1 special volume. And that is, by the way, second episode is awesome. Also, hello, Sega. Anyway, so, you're probably wondering what exactly is going on with this next volume and why is it a 2-in-1. I know I keep saying 2-in-1 special. The special is because of the fact that this is going to be the 3rd year of the Radical Rewind Summer Special. Which, yes, that does mean, in fact, is returning. So, we're actually going to be doing that on most likely May the 28th, no, not 28th, the 25th. The reason why I say this is because this is most likely the date of, well, no, not this. I mean, it's theorized, but yeah, so, anyway, guess what? It's been rumored, or rather reported on, that, this long-awaited PlayStation Showcase, we don't have to wait too much longer. In fact, the reason why I said the 25th of May, out of all times, is because of the fact that, also I apologize for the brightness, it's because it's bright outside. Yeah. So for one, even before we found out that this would most likely be happening in May, Jeff Grubb said that the next PlayStation Showcase, which was originally going to happen fall last year but got delayed because Sony wasn't quite ready yet, many people theorize that is because of the Activision and Blizzard acquisition from Microsoft, but that was not the case. But it's because of the fact that not everyone was quite ready yet. So Sony figured, well, we might as well wait until summertime or around summertime next year in 2023. Case in point, it was reported by Jeff Grubb that we would be getting a PlayStation Showcase before TGS. No, not TGS. Summer Game Fest, not TGS. So SGF is what I meant. And to be more precise, and more recently, he mentioned that it was going to be May. The end of May. And I believe what's going to happen is that we're going to get the showcase on the 25th. We're going to get the announcement either on the 18th next month or the 19th, whatever Sony plans on. And we're going to be getting some big. I just know it. So, yeah. But as for what I think is going to happen, or not think, but hope is going to happen, well, let's just say that, something tells me that this may be the event that a certain demographic of Sony fans will be paying close attention to. The reason why I say this is because if we all remember correctly, there was PlayStation Home's trademark. There were the rumors that PlayStation Home that it would be coming back. And when you consider the fact that the trademark has been renewed, and the PlayStation Stars, and the fact that PlayStation Stars at some point will be getting console integration. I don't know why this is taking so long to load. As soon as I look away. Yeah, but if we all remember correctly, well, we had a renewal for PlayStation Home's trademark back in, yeah. Now, something to keep in mind is the fact that you might notice this right here and think, oh, well, that's nothing. What if I were to tell you that I have suspicions to believe that, or reason to believe, that, the reason why this has popped up every once in a while is because the EUIPO is checking in on the proprietors to make sure that, hey, it's basically a progress report. You know, how, certain businesses will have people doing something and they work with the, something like the EUIPO. Like, they'll be checking in on it to make sure that they're making good progress and stuff. In other words, basically, like, the EUIPO, they know that Sony, like, PlayStation London Studio and these people are working on this new PlayStation Home. They are the rightful proprietors of it. But what's happening is they are just simply checking in on them, seeing how they're doing with it, seeing what's up, all that stuff. Now, you might think that, oh, well, that's just one trademark, right? There's 3 of them. One of them hasn't been updated since 2019, I think, or 2017. Yeah, 2019. But the other one got updated back in March of this year. And, it's been a slow and steady process. But as you can see, it's been checked in on. But the whole reason why I'm bringing up PlayStation Home and PlayStation Stars is because of the fact that, well, I think it's better to just show you. So, basically, according to numerous different people, it's been theorized that the digital collectibles for PlayStation Stars, because of the fact that it was explained that there would be console integration at a later point, something tells me that at a later point means sooner than we think. A perfect time to do that would be at the PlayStation Summer Showcase, and the console integration is a bit interesting, and this is my own personal theory as to how it's going to work. Many people have thought, oh god, it's going to be a carbon copy of the app, isn't it? No. It's not. My own personal 2 cents about it is that it's only going to be on PS5. Not on PS4. The reason being is because of the fact that the PS4 is starting to be phased out. Yeah, you could still buy a PS4 at a store like Walmart or Target, but it's not quite the same as PS5. PS5 is leaps and bounds ahead of its predecessor in more ways than one. But how I think this would work exclusively on PS5 is that instead of it just being like, oh, there's a tab on your profile, let me explain something real quick. These digital collectibles, first of all, are not NFTs. They've already explained that numerous times, even when people had their doubts. But they are 3D digital representations of stuff from PlayStation and Sony. Case in point, 3D representations. And you can display them in a display cabinet. What's something that you could use as a social experience that you could use to also display these things? PlayStation Home. You see, it is of my suspicion that PlayStation Home will be coming back most likely this year. The reason why I say this is partially because of the fact that this year marks 15 years since PlayStation Home first launched on the PS3 back in 2008. Now granted, it didn't launch fully for everybody until December of that year, but throughout 2008 there were numerous testing things going on. And I believe that to coincide with Home's 15th anniversary, albeit not on the actual 15th anniversary, but just sometime this year, they could bring it back. It would make perfect, legitimate sense for them to do that. I have no doubt in my mind. And honestly, I wouldn't put it past them to do that. Because if you think about it, here's something to keep in mind. Many people think, oh, well, if they do launch PlayStation Home, it's going to be on PSVR 2, right? Theoretically, yeah, but you have to realize the PSVR 2 itself costs $500. 500. Or $550 if you're getting the bundle that includes the game. I want you to think about that. Does Sony really expect people to pay $500 just to get a headset just for one game? Or would they rather just launch the game outright on PS5, which is already, like, it's already gotten like a massive audience, at least 30 million units sold so far. Or maybe even more, I don't remember, but you get what I mean, right? Like, why would you need to go out and shell out like $500 or so for a headset for a console which can already play the game that you would be getting the headset for? Because home doesn't need a headset. Like, yeah, one could argue that home could be sort of like VR chat in a sense, but you also have to keep in mind that many people may use this to their advantage in a way that would be, or not in an advantage kind of way, but more like, well, let's just say as someone who plays VR chat religiously, not in an actual religion, but let's just say that people have been known to make very obscene gestures on VR. Like, very obscene. As in, you know, not safe for work. Someone could easily, while in PSVR 2, do something to someone's avatar, like pretend to do with them or stuff like that, or, you know, harass them, stuff like that. And well, yeah, people could still technically harass others just by playing on console, but another thing to keep in mind is that with VR, there's always that looming worry of if you're playing a mini game and someone does something in an unfair way where they're just like clipping through walls by like, you know, poking and all that stuff. It's hard to explain, and I understand many people do want home to be on PSVR 2, but I don't see a need for it to be on PSVR 2 when they could just go ahead and launch the game outright on PS5 once it's all said and done. Now, that's not to say that PS Home is ready, or that it's even confirmed, but there is plenty of evidence to support the fact that it is coming back. You know? So, I think with PS Stars and the home trademarks, the Soho engine, which is made by London Studio, you know, you have all of these implications, and, you know, one could argue that, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Bear in mind, I want you to realize something. When Home was about to close down, you want to know how many people were online at the time of its closure on PlayStation Home? 41 million. 41 million people all across the globe who loved and respected this online social experience that, while it did have its flaws, it was a perpetual beta, so it wasn't perfect. But people loved it, you know? It had a sense of community that many people, you know, have tried to replicate. Like, VR chat certainly has, like, a very close comparison to it, but, yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, all I'm saying is people really loved this game, and there's been outcry upon outcry upon outcry that Sony brings this back. Every single day I go on Twitter and I search up PlayStation Home to see what people are talking about regarding it. People keep saying, Sony, please bring this back on PS5. Please bring this back. Please bring this back. And it's obvious that Sony knows about this. Because why else would they have Easter eggs of PlayStation Home on Astro's Playroom? You have a digital collectible you could get earlier this year in PlayStation Stars of PlayStation Home. It was like a little, not really a kiosk, but it was more like a circular object that had like posters that showed off like different locales and the home logo. it's obvious Sony hasn't forgotten about it, and I feel like they were even subtly hinting at it with Astro's Playroom and the PlayStation Stars collectible. And hell, the Stars collectibles themselves are very much hinting at PlayStation Home returning. Now you might think, what makes you say that? Aren't they just gonna do a carbon copy of what they're doing on the PlayStation app whenever it gets console integration? No. The only reason why they're doing that on the app is because there's only so much a smartphone can do. While there are technically smartphones that are geared towards gaming, those are really expensive, alright? And not many people have a gaming smartphone except for those who are exorbitantly rich. But then we have console. Now, obviously, the PS4, it could still technically get this feature, but it's most likely going to be a carbon copy of the app. However, then we have the PS5 and what it's capable of. Got a super fast SSD that can make loading times a snap. You got that? You have the fact that it uses... It's such a remarkable console that I can't even put it into words. But the key thing to take away from this is that if Sony were to relaunch PlayStation Home, that would be the way to do it. The PS5 and its tech far outclassed the PS3 by a long shot. Because the PS3 was hampered by long load times, you got the hard drive that took forever for things to load. Although some games were quicker than others, but that's besides the point. But then we have the fact that, like I said earlier, Home was in a beta. So what you were seeing on the PS3 was only a proof of concept of what that kind of service would be like. On the PS5, however, it could be out of beta. It could be much better than ever before. Now, in my previous iterations of my wish list, I talked about returning player stuff. I realize now that that wouldn't be the case because all of our content that we had in the game was on the old servers. Thereby meaning that if you are a returning player, the most you would get is maybe some new articles of clothing for your avatar that would signify your return. Nothing beyond that. However, that doesn't mean that Home is going to be, I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is that while PlayStation Home can definitely work on the PS5, if you're a returning player like me, don't expect your stuff to be given back to you. It's not going to work out because all that stuff was stored on the old servers, and they're obviously going to be using new servers that are running on much better tech, much better security, much better all that. And obviously, because of that, you wouldn't be able to get your old content back. I wish that wouldn't be the case, but it is what it is, so yeah. Anyway, so with that, we also have the other thing that I'm going to be doing for the summer special. Summer Game Fest 2023. So, Summer Game Fest 2023 is going to be starting on June the 8th. And it's going to be pretty cool. The thing is, it's going to be bigger and better than ever before. But something to keep in mind, and this is a what-if scenario. if PlayStation does launch PlayStation Home, and it's during the PlayStation Showcase that's supposedly happening at the end of next month, and by the end of next month, I mean the 25th, because that is on a Thursday. Sony usually has their events on a Thursday, so yeah. If Sony launches PlayStation Home during the showcase, hell, it could be the very first announcement, so that way they could get it out of the way, so people already watching could boot up their PS5 if they have one. They could go ahead and download it, and so on and so forth. What if Home does launch, which hopefully it does. I mean, we're all hopeful. We're all hoping it happens, which many people are growing doubtful because it hasn't happened yet. Bear in mind, it's only when Sony is ready for it. But if Home does come and it's during the showcase, what I think would be really freaking cool is if Sony partners up with Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest and they have a special space for the Summer Game Fest where you could complete activities and stuff and get rewards and stuff. That'd be freaking cool. That would be super freaking cool. Also, I'm already signed up for that. Yeah, so I have to say though, I'm excited for this summer. It's gonna be a big one, bigger than the last few. And I think this is going to be a very important year for Sony, as they already said before. For PlayStation, it's going to be a very big year. Because we already have PSVR 2. We have Project Leonardo, which is that accessibility controller, which they revealed, I think, sometime last year. We got Burning Shores, which, by the way, people quit complaining about same-sex relationships in video games. It's not hurting you, okay? It's not hurting you. Shut up. If you don't like it, look elsewhere. Quit being so outraged by everything. Anyway, so we got all that. But now I think it's ready. I think it's about time for Sony to bring out the big guns. And come a few weeks from now, I think we're about to get exactly that. So, with that being said, this is one of the things I'll be covering during my summer special, which, again, will be happening on the 25th. So, like I said, the next volume of Radical Rewind will be a two-parter, with the main part being started next Monday, but it will end on yeah. So now as for what I'm going to be doing after this stream, I will be doing more Sonic Frontiers episodes. Don't worry about that. I haven't forgotten about it. It's just I've been trying to figure out good times to do this stuff, because I'm trying to get back into the swing of things when it comes to streaming. It's all a matter of timing and all this other stuff. It's all a matter of scheduling. But I think with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you did, then like, comment, and subscribe. Do all that stuff. You don't have to do any of it, but it's certainly appreciated. Let your friends know about this channel so that way they could check it out. And, yeah. Also, in case you're curious, yes, VR streams will be making a comeback at some point. I also have to figure out when would be a good time to do that as well. It's just, it's a case-by-case basis of what I plan on and what I plan on doing and all this other stuff. It's a lot of stuff, but I think we can get it done. But with that being said, thank you all for watching. I hope you have a great day or night, depending on where you live.